Right now, while you're watching this, you've already checked your phone. Maybe a second ago. Maybe you just unlocked it for no reason, glanced at the screen, and put it back. And you probably don't even remember why. According to a 2024 study by reviews.org, the average person checks their phone 205 times a day, every 5 minutes of waking life. Most of those checks are automatic, no intention, no reason. You know what you're doing, you've seen the articles, you've probably set app limits, maybe you've even moved your phone to another room, and you still reached for it again. Because the problem isn't willpower, and it isn't discipline. The answer goes deeper, into how your brain is actually wired, and into something certain people figured out long before anyone else, and used against you. His name was Burris Frederick Skinner, an American psychologist working at Harvard in the middle of the 20th century. In the 1950s, he ran an experiment that nobody planned to use against people. He took pigeons, placed them in boxes with a lever, pressed the lever, get food. Simple. The pigeons learned fast. They pressed, ate, settled down. Then Skinner changed one thing. He made the food drop out not every time. Sometimes, yes. Sometimes, nothing. No pattern, no predictability, random, and the pigeons broke. They started pressing the lever continuously. Far more often than when food was guaranteed. They didn't stop even when they were full. They kept pressing again and again, simply because the next time might be the one. Skinner called this the variable ratio reinforcement schedule, and he himself compared his box to a slot machine. He literally wrote that he had turned his pigeons into pathological gamblers. This discovery would have remained a laboratory curiosity, except that a few decades later, engineers in Silicon Valley read those same papers. In 2013, Tristan Harris, Google's design ethicist, the person whose job was to make products less manipulative, wrote an internal document for company leadership. He named what was happening directly. Every app on your phone runs on the same mechanism as Skinner's box. Notifications arrive randomly. The feed updates unpredictably. You never know whether the next swipe will give you something interesting or not. The document was ignored. Harris left Google in 2016 and founded the Center for Humane Technology. He later testified before the United States Senate and said something that has been quoted thousands of times since. You can try to use willpower, but on the other side of the screen, there are 1,000 engineers working against you. The mechanism stayed. It's running right now, in every app on your phone. Most people, when they hear about Skinner's box, think the same thing. Okay, now I understand why I check my phone. It's dopamine. It's addiction. Just being aware of it should make it easier to stop. It won't. In 2018, the Journal of Behavioral Addictions published a review of research on smartphone addiction. The conclusion was uncomfortable. Understanding the mechanism doesn't reduce its power. Knowing how a slot machine works doesn't make you less likely to pull the lever. Your brain knows what's happening and keeps doing it anyway. Dopamine is released not after a reward arrives. It's released in the moment of anticipation. Neuroscientist Wolfram Schultz from the University of Cambridge spent decades studying dopamine neurons in monkeys. His discovery, published in Science in 1997, overturned how we understand motivation. Dopamine isn't a pleasure hormone, it's an anticipation hormone. It fires when the brain thinks a reward is possible, not when the reward is there, when it might be. An unpredictable reward triggers a larger dopamine release than a guaranteed one. If you know you'll get something, the brain doesn't get excited. If you don't know, it can't stop. Every time you check your phone, it isn't a search for information. It's a dopamine request. Your brain is literally asking, what if this is it? What if this time? And when there's nothing there, it doesn't calm down. It just makes the request again. That explains the number, 205 times a day, every 5 minutes. Not because something is there, because something might be. Dopamine is only the surface. Beneath it lies something considerably older and considerably more powerful. Imagine you live in a small group of people, 30, maybe 40. No cities, no institutions, no laws except the ones held together by trust and reputation. In that world, one thing matters more than almost anything else: knowing what's happening inside the group. Who's with whom? Who's against whom? Who got sick? Who betrayed someone? Who brought food? Missing important social information in that world meant being in danger. Losing your allies, losing your standing. In the worst case, being cast out. And being cast out from the group in that world was the same as dying. Evolutionary psychologist Robin Dunbar from the University of Oxford spent decades studying the social structures of human groups. His famous number, 150, that's how many people the human brain can hold as genuine social connections. No more. Dunbar established that our brains are literally wired for constant monitoring of the social environment, tracking relationships, statuses, threats, alliances. This isn't an optional feature. It's the central operating system shaped by millions of years of tuning. Now look at your phone. A notification from one person, a like from another, a message in a group chat, a new follower. Someone mentioned you. Someone didn't reply. Your brain processes every one of these signals the same way it processed social information in that small group of 40 people, with the same urgency, with the same biological seriousness. Researchers at UCLA in 2016 scanned the brains of teenagers while they were using social media and found that a like on a photo activates the same reward regions in the brain as food and live social approval. The brain makes no distinction. For it, digital interaction is just as real as the in-person kind. Except the group is no longer 40 people. Now it's everyone on the internet. Hundreds, thousands, millions. Your brain can't tell the difference. Every notification is potentially important social information, a potential threat, a potential ally, a potential shift in your standing in the group. Researcher Andrew Przybylski from the University of Oxford coined the term FOMO, fear of missing out, in 2013. Przybylski showed this isn't a modern quirk or a smartphone generation problem. It's an evolutionary mechanism that protected humans from social isolation for millions of years. Your phone just found a direct wire to it. You check your phone not because you're bored. You check it because your brain is convinced, right now, something important to your place in the group is happening. And if you don't check, you'll miss it. For good. Because the people who knew this used it deliberately. In 1998, B.J. Fogg founded the Persuasive Technology Lab at Stanford. He studied one question: how to get a person to take any action through a screen. His formula was simple: motivation plus ability plus trigger. Remove one element, the action doesn't happen. Add all three at the right moment, a person will do almost anything. Almost automatically. Fogg taught this to students as an academic concept. His student Mike Krieger went on to found Instagram. Another student, Tristan Harris, later became the industry's most prominent critic, including of the system he himself had helped build. In 2017, Sean Parker, Facebook's first president, gave an interview in which he said things that stopped people in their tracks. He described how the social network was created. We deliberately exploited a vulnerability in human psychology. We asked ourselves, how do we consume as much of your time and conscious attention as possible? Parker explained the like mechanism directly. It's a social validation feedback loop that gives you a little hit of dopamine and compels you to post more content. He added, God only knows what it's doing to our children's brains. That wasn't a critic talking. That was the man who built it. What's striking is something else. The knowledge didn't even help them. That same Parker, in that same interview, admitted he can't stop either. Tristan Harris, the person who dedicated his life to fighting phone addiction, said on the podcast, Your Undivided Attention, he still catches himself mindlessly checking his phone several times a day for no reason. The mechanism doesn't break weak people, it breaks everyone, because it doesn't speak to the part of your brain that knows about Skinner and dopamine and boxes full of pigeons. It speaks to the part that existed long before humans had the capacity for reasoning, the part for which social information has always been a matter of survival, the part you cannot switch off with awareness. Neuroscientist Dharmeshi from Michigan State University, in a study published in Frontiers in Human Neuroscience in 2015, showed receiving positive social feedback, likes, comments, mentions, activates the nucleus accumbens, the same structure that activates in response to drugs, winning money, eating when you're starving, same structure, same signal, and when the expected signal doesn't come, the brain's social pain regions activate. The same regions that respond to physical pain and to rejection by real people. Your brain literally experiences the absence of a like as a small physical pain. 205 times a day. That's an ancient system for monitoring your social environment. Someone pointed it down a tube the size of your palm and turned it up to full power. Right now, while you're watching this video, your phone is somewhere nearby, maybe face down, maybe in your pocket, and somewhere in the background, your brain is already counting. How long since the last check? 5 minutes, 10, Maybe you've already checked it while watching this and didn't even notice. That's not your fault. Burris Skinner discovered the mechanism in the 1950s using pigeons. Engineers in Silicon Valley took that mechanism and built it into a device you carry with you 24 hours a day. They added millions of years of evolution on top of it. The instinct to monitor your group, the fear of social isolation, the pain of rejection. They hired thousands of people whose only job is to make sure you can't stop. And you still sometimes feel guilty. Like you're not disciplined enough. Like other people handle it better. They don't. Sean Parker doesn't handle it. Tristan Harris doesn't handle it. You're fighting a system that was specifically designed to beat you. In 2018, psychologist Melissa Hunt from the University of Pennsylvania ran an experiment. She asked students to limit their social media use to 30 minutes a day. Just 30 minutes. After 3 weeks, participants showed significantly lower levels of loneliness and depression, not after a year. After 3 weeks, the mechanism works in both directions. If you reduce the variable reward, the brain gradually stops demanding it. The next time you reach for your phone for no reason, just notice it. Don't stop yourself. Don't judge yourself. Just notice. Because between the hand reaching for the screen and the awareness that it's reaching, there is a tiny gap. And everything that makes you a human being rather than a pigeon in Skinner's box lives in that gap. You check your phone 200 times a day. Now you know why. The question isn't whether you can stop. The question is, do you even want to?